My name is Joey Richter. I am the CEO and founder at Aardvark Technologies. Aardvark is a Web3 wallet-based messaging and community engagement platform. We're here at
Central Miami.
That's right, hanging out, having fun.
Yeah, I'm Austin Zerflu, Chief Technology Officer here at Aardvark. Glad to be here.
Can you tell us about the current state of messaging in Web3?
Yeah, so current state of messaging in Web3, in one word, would probably be fragmented. So there are a lot of solutions out there for messaging in Web3. Most of them center around the blockchain in question. So, there's a solution for Solana, there's a solution for Ethereum, but there aren't really any good Web3 native solutions that allow the user a good user experience where they can message on any wallet or with any wallet on any blockchain platform. And then the other solutions are Web2 solutions. So you have solutions like Telegram and Discord, which weren't really built from the ground up with crypto in mind or blockchain in mind, right? So they're kind of shifted to fit the narrative of Web3 messaging, which doesn't really solve the core problems.
Thank you. And what unique challenges does Web3 messaging face compared to traditional messaging?
Yeah, I think Joey touched on a big piece of it, which is the fragmentation, right? You've got users across a number of different blockchains all trying to achieve the ideal state of interoperability, right? So I can take a conversation from Ethereum, I can take it to Solana, I can talk between them, etc. I think is the ideal state as we see it. And so that's a challenge. That's one way that Aardvark is helping bridge that gap in terms of allowing people to interact in a game, right? And then taking that interaction outside onto an NFT marketplace and having kind of seamless chat amongst all your different kind of Web3 crypto experiences.
How does decentralized and encrypted messaging fit into the larger conversation about privacy and data security?
Yeah, so right now you have a lot of different chat applications. Discord is the big one in Web3. You've got Telegram as well, which support varying degrees of encryption. But for the most part, these messages aren't end-to-end encrypted. Somebody from Discord can, read your messages, right, for whatever purposes. Maybe they're going to monetize that data. Maybe they're looking for something in particular for some reason, right? The message content is not your own until it's end-to-end encrypted, something that we believe strongly in at Aardvark. And also, with Aardvark Messenger as well, we allow users to kind of retain their pseudonymity, right? Lots of people, link Twitter accounts to their Discord, personal Twitter accounts, and you've got all these different linked social media accounts and things that inevitably tie back to personal information, right? Discord requires you to sign up with an email address, Telegram with a phone number, all very personal bits of information that can be tied back to you, right? And so Aardvark allows you to keep that pseudonymity by not requiring you to give us that information and being able to kind of message privately, securely, and seamlessly.
Thank you. Can you speak to any specific use cases or industries where Web3 messaging might be particularly useful or dangerous or advantageous? Sorry.
Yeah, so the applications of wallet-based messaging are really as many applications as exist in Web3. So an example I use a lot is DeFi services. So you have like a decentralized finance application, think Uniswap or things like that, where users are pooling money together or doing liquidity-based farming. There's a lot of events that happen in those applications that users would want updates and notifications on based at the wallet level. Those application providers know about wallet addresses, but they don't know who the users behind those wallet addresses are. And if they want to be able to communicate with those users via support mechanisms, or if they want to send API-based notifications to those users, there's really no good way to do that. Aardvark solves that problem. Another great use case would be, gaming. We see gaming as a large trend in blockchain, and a lot of times, developers in the gaming ecosystem don't want to co-develop a game and a lot of the other pieces you need to build a fully end-to-end game that users want to use, like chat. And so there's a big opportunity for us to leverage the technology, and these are a lot of conversations we have currently with games where they can get their game to market faster and still deliver those features, leveraging Aardvark's chat functionality.
Thank you. Can you discuss any ongoing projects or developments in the space that have caught your attention?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. Obviously, the space is continually evolving. Things are happening constantly. We've seen, at least, we're closer to messaging in general because that's the path we've chosen for our product. But we've seen an adoption of community-based engagement outside of Web 2-based services. So you're seeing an uptick in interest in other tools that provide more data insights around wallet activity that allow them to better market segment their user base or target specific members of their community. And I think these are things that are really applicable to our project because those are things we can integrate with. So another example that I'm excited about is kind of machine learning driven wallet-based activity that allows you to scan a wallet's history and understand more about the person behind the wallet. Is this a person that's acting nefariously by engaging with marketplaces and DeFi services in questionable ways? Is this someone that is a diamond hand PFP holder because they have bought these and they've never sold them, right? There's a lot of information that we can gather based on wallet activity that we can leverage in a great way and put to use in the Aardvark platform. And I think that's probably what I'm most excited about that I've seen recently.
Thank you. How do decentralized messaging platforms handle issues like spam and fake accounts?
Yeah, good question. The simple answer is traditionally for pretty much every Web3 decentralized messaging platform we've seen, it's that they don't generally, right? When it comes to the content level moderation and filtering, if we're talking about end-to-end encrypted messages, there's really no way for the messaging protocol to know what is being sent and therefore moderate it. I think on the topic of spam specifically, that's where Aardvark is doing some interesting things. We're rolling out the ability to basically gate who can message you based on criteria that you as the user specify. Could be something like, I want to only receive messages from people that are in a community that I'm a part of, right? Based on my wallet holdings of NFTs. Or I want to only receive messages of users that have a certain amount of ETH in their wallet or Solana or whatever, right? And allow people to kind of control who can message them and based on what criteria through filtration mechanisms like that, but also, traditional things like kind of like a friends list or a white list, right? Where you say, I can always talk with Joey or Thomas, etc. So, yeah.
Thank you. How do decentralization and encryption impact user experience and adoption rates for Web3 messaging platforms?
Yeah. That is a great question as well. So I think traditionally, if you look at a lot of kind of pure Web3 messaging systems where the messages are stored on chain, you start to get into fragmented and poor user experiences where I send a message, I have to sign it with my wallet, I have to wait for it to get confirmed. It's painful, tedious, and slow to actually send a message, right? That's where kind of some of the more idealistic approaches have gone in the industry currently. I think that's a big problem, obviously. For Aardvark, we've kind of shifted to end-to-end encryption as our main kind of privacy and protection mechanism for our users, while still storing the messages on our servers. But again, in that sense, because it's end-to-end encrypted, it's encrypted on the device before it's ever sent anywhere. So Aardvark never has any access to your messages or anything like that. So.
And in what ways do Web3 messaging protocols differ from traditional protocols like SMS or email?
Yeah, so I touched on other messaging protocols a little earlier with Telegram, etc. The main difference There isn't a fundamental difference in some of the underlying technology, right? Messaging is still messaging. If you send a message to a user, that user is going to receive the message. The difference is the audience and some of the tool sets around Web 2 versus Web 3 messaging. So Telegram wasn't built with crypto in mind, right? With blockchain in mind. So there's really no good way to represent yourself as an anonymous identity backed by a set of wallets or a singular wallet. So Aardvark is differentiating itself from some of these Web 2 messaging protocols in the sense that we built it from the ground up with the wallet in mind, right? Every wallet you have might represent a piece of your identity or an individual identity, and you have no good way to communicate with that wallet address. You have a lot of information in that wallet. It represents a lot of about who you are, right? You might own certain NFTs that represent your interests, or you might have invested in certain projects that you love. And so there's a lot of really great kind of personal information about that other people can leverage to find commonalities and similarities. You can find new friends with just by looking at the content in someone's wallet, right? But there's no good way to reach out to that user to communicate with that person. So building a communication platform, a community engagement platform, with that in mind, with the wallets in mind at a core level, was really the intention behind differentiating Aardvark from other platforms.
And lastly, what potential future applications or advancements do you expect? Can we expect to see in the space?
Good question.
No. Do you mean more generally, or just kind of what advancements we see around messaging?
Yeah, generally, or just messaging it?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a large shift kind of across the ecosystem where users are in control of their information, right? We talk about data ownership a lot in Web3 and blockchain, and that's the biggest kind of seismic shift that I see, where marketers are going to have to ask permission from users in order to use that information and leverage that information. And that's, there's a lot of other kind of tangents I can go off with that topic, but that's one of the big things that we believe in at Aardvark is basically the idea that we can empower users to take advantage of those tools that are coming by, if you're an influencer, for example, allowing your Aardvark profile to be set up in such a way that you can monetize on your following if you want to have, one-on-one conversations with your supporters. You're leveraging the information that you have, you're leveraging the tools you have in a more direct way, as opposed to being maybe taken advantage of by larger systems that are out of your control. So I think that seismic shift in terms of data ownership and the permissions that entities are going to have from you in order to use your information is probably the most relevant large shift that we see being important for Aardvark.